Namaskar, viewers and seekers. Today's video is about Rahu and Ketu and how they came into existence. The formation of these two entities, known as Chaya Grah or shadow planets, is linked to a very popular Hindu mythological event known as the Samudra Manthan or the churning of the ocean milk. The churning of the ocean was a collab between the gods, the Devas, and the demons, the Asuras, and this was to obtain the nectar of immortality, also known as Amrita. So, Lord Vishnu, in his Kurma or tortoise avatar, was also part of this journey. Kurma balanced Mount Mandara on its shell to assist the gods and asuras in the churning process. The initial agreement was that the Amrita will be shared by the gods and the asuras. During the churning process, first came out the toxicity in the form of a poison known as halahal. The poison could annihilate the universe, and Lord Shiva decided to drink this halahal in order to save humanity. He held the poison in his throat, which turned blue, and thus Lord Shiva also became known as Neelkant, which means blue throat. Other precious ratnas that also came out of the churning process included the Parijat tree, Kamdhenu, the cow of plenty, goddess Lakshmi, and many others. In the end, emerged god Dhanvantri, who is also known as the divine physician. He was holding the pot or a kalash which contained the Amrita. Now, as per agreement, the nectar or elixir of immortality had to be shared. So there was sort of a party, but the Devtas or the gods never had this intention. In order to execute their plan, they had to somehow make the Asuras believe that they got the elixir, but instead they would get some other beverage. In comes Mohini, a very beautiful lady, femme fatale, who was none other than Lord Vishnu in the Mohini form. Mohini danced, entertained the Devas and the Asuras, and also distributed the elixir while doing so. But very cleverly, Mohini would give the Amrita only to the gods and a regular imitation beverage to the Asuras. This was going on very well as per plan. Among the Asuras, there was one very clever Asura. His name was Swarbhanu. So Swarbhanu realized the trickery of Mohini, and he quietly got up and maybe changed his form. And instead of the Asuras, he went and sat among the gods. Swarbhanu thus drank the Amrita, which was given by Mohini. However, very soon Mohini realized the deception, and she used the Sudarshan Chakra, the discus weapon of Lord Vishnu, to decapitate Swarbhanu before he could fully ingest the nectar. So Swarbhanu's body was decapitated, and because Swarbhanu had already consumed the nectar, his head and his body now became immortal. Lord Vishnu gave them the title as shadow planets because they're going to exist forever. And today, head portion of Swarbhanu is known as Rahu, and the body is known as Ketu. Both of these shadow planets today exist as not as real physical planets, but as sensitive mathematical points in the zodiac, in the sky. In the horoscope or Kundli, Rahu and Ketu form what we call the karmic axis. They are always 180 degrees apart in any chart that you pick up. And this reminds us of the fact that once the Rahu and the Ketu, the head and the body, were one entity, Swarbhanu. Okay? The karmic axis has a lot of significance. After all, we are born because of our karmas, right? So karmic axis has a huge significance in our lives, as it also represents the past life influences, our unfulfilled or other desires, and also spiritual evolution. So Rahu, or the head component, is associated with ambition, material pursuits and worldly desires. So this makes sense because Rahu was the head, and though it consumed the poison, it went into the stomach, right? It didn't stay in the mouth. So Rahu is still greedy, sort of, has this insatiable energy that he wants more. So there is a lot of material pursuits and a lot of worldly desires that are associated with Rahu. Ketu, on the other hand, is associated with spirituality because Ketu is the body and the elixir of immortality is within the stomach, within the system. It is more like, okay, I'm happy, I'm content. So wherever Ketu position is in your chart, you will feel that you have the skills for that. It also causes detachment because you don't want to pursue something that you've already done, right? And also liberation from mundane attachments. So Ketu, wherever it sits, it kind of adds a spiritual flavor to it. Rahu and Ketu transit through the zodiac signs every 18 months and they influence different areas of our lives. So I will end here. It's a short story about Rahu and Ketu, but it's very important to understand the story in order to understand the predictions that are made because now you will be able to understand the energies associated with Rahu and Ketu and why they are not physical planets. This is something that is like mind boggling, right? I will also put a link to a video of some other YouTuber who has very nicely described how like the mathematical aspect of it. So I'll put a link which might be useful to those who are very much into astronomy and understanding facts and science rather than mythology and speculation. Thank you so much, and I will keep bringing such videos that will enrich you with the knowledge, ancient knowledge that we have, which is so precious to be preserved and passed on to the next generations. Thank you for now. Bye bye.